Hi, welcome back to Lakeside Quilt Making Arts. This is the Friday report of what's gotten done in the past 7 days. No pressure whatsoever, right? So the best part about reports is it gives us an opportunity to evaluate where we're putting our efforts and where we need to put our efforts. So for that reason, I do like reports. Haven't always liked them when I had to give reports professionally in my job. I've always been of the mindset I'd rather be a busy bee than talking about the work, But I do appreciate the value of analyzing things, and reports help us to do that. So what I've done, I've created a list of the work in progress, my WIPs, my UFOs, my ones that are percolating in my head, but I'm, solidly dedicated to making sure they come to reality. I think every new business, which is what I consider that I'm doing, every new business should evaluate at the beginning of the year where they are, where they're going, keep their mission statement and their vision plain and clear throughout the year. So I've added, what my business initiatives are, what my skill focuses are, and what my quilt initiatives are. And the main things that you're going to be concerned about will be what WIPs are in progress, what's on the design board now, and what UFOs are in existence. What this analysis did for me, it allowed me to understand that of my quilt initiatives, of the WIPs that I have 2 that fall underneath the category of that comfort and waiting, which is category number 1 of my initiatives. And I have 2 that fall under angel blessings, 6 that fall under exploration of skill sets and creativity and execution of those, and then 2 that fall under legacy quilts. I have 9 WIPs. 3 of those WIPs fall into multiple categories. So that's why 2, 4, 6, I have 12 different categories being hit, but only have 9 quilts. Of those UFOs I have, 1 is for category number 3, which is exploration. 1 is category number 4, which is legacy quilt. And then under those that are percolating, I have 11 quilts, and I have 13 categories being hit. None of those are for comfort in the waiting, because I feel like the comfort in the waiting needs to be quilts that are quickly and easily produced. So under those that are percolating, I have 5 hitting the category number 2, angel blessings, 2 that hit the category number 3 of exploration, and 6 that hit the category number 4 of legacy making. So what are those WIPs? So the first one is the one I just created a video about and got published last night, I think it was. And that is the Quilt Show's Block of the Month 2024, the templates for doing that block and picking out fabric and looking at value and those kinds of things. So that one is about, I consider, for January, and I have everything broken out per month. So for January, that one's about 35% done. The next WIP is the Mars quilt, and it is 65% done. I'm working on the crust. I have more crust to go. Then the next one is the Moda blockhead. I consider that one to be about 5% done. The Moda blockhead, I think I could consider that one for initiative number 4, the comfort in the waiting. Remind everybody, the comfort in the waiting is for the children on transplant list. I don't have a particular reason to do that quilt like I do with the block of the month for the quilt show. That one's for my granddaughter. The block of the month for Moda, I just want to do it. So what I might do, instead of making a bunch of blocks each month like the block they're making, is just make the one and then turn that quickly into a quilt for comfort and waiting, which again we'll be using the hashtag Avery Quilts, ABERY quilts. So because I've just started that, I consider that just 5% done, because I've identified it. I've identified fabrics that I own already. I need to get those fabrics cut up. The next one is an art piece that I've got in my head, and I started on it, and I consider that just about 3% done. Probably more like 5 actually, because I've got the fabrics prepared and I started stitching. It's a slow stitch project. I'll show you a little snippet of it. What I want to do is almost like a temperature quilt, but it's the colors of the sunrise and the colors of the dusk of the day and here at the lake. And then those are going to be stitched onto a 2.5-inch strip for each month, and then when the year is done, then those are woven in together for a wall piece, and then embroidery on top of that. But now that I've started the quilt shows block of the month, which is a slow stitch too, that quilt for 2024, that one may fall on the back burner. I hope not. So far it has this week, but hopefully I can get it off the back burner. The next one is the leader ender quilt. What I'm doing with it is I'm taking the half square triangle cutoffs from other projects from 2023, and I'm just going to be kind of giving them the log cabin treatment, putting a strip around them. And I'm considering that one to be just 2%. Because I'm just getting started. But if you consider the fact that the fabrics are already cut, then it's probably more than the 2%. The next one is a rail. This one is for the comfort and waiting. I just want to do some quick quilts for that, right? And it's not that I want to make them lesser than my others, but to be efficient and to actually get some produced, those have to be quick. So I want to get one of those started so that whenever I'm just in a mindless mode, I can just go in and just do some quick, easy piecing. Next is Color My World. I've got that pattern, I've read through it. I want to identify which fabrics are needed, what I need to buy. I think with that one, I want to do that one out of thrift store shirts. I think that one could be interesting down that way. I've been inspired by, I can't think of her first name right now, but she's a lady in Birmingham, Alabama. Her YouTube channel is the Catbird Seat, I think. And she's the one that always says, and I have a lot to say about it. I thought, oh, I should have come up with that. The next one is for one of my nephews, and it's 65% done, and he did almost all of the work. I did the cutting and he did all the sewing. The next one is one of the Quilted quilts. I have a couple of her patterns, and one in particular I really wanted to see done for my son, but now I've done one for him, so it's going to be on the back burner a little bit, but I definitely think it would be great to be done with thrift store shirts, and that would save me some money. Of my UFOs, I have one for Mount Rainier, and that I started a long time ago when my children were young. I'll need to acquire some more creativity and some more skills before I get back at it. But I have it displayed in my home so I don't forget about it. So I'm constantly thinking about what to do. I'm going to be adding a moose to it. And I almost feel like that moose needs to be a separate quilt that is laid on top of it, separate piece altogether. And then they're added together. That very 3D kind of thing. A variegation of color is what I think that moose should be, or it should be white. I don't know. We'll see. I understand a white moose is very rare, so that might be a cool thing, and I think they're supposed to represent luck. Next, we have the percolating list. We'll go over those probably in a separate video, but I'll just go through the names of them right now, and they're not really the names, but just how I'm identifying them at the time. There's a canoe one. There's one for a friend, Kathy. That's one of my angel blessings. Ellen, another angel blessing. Margot, another angel blessing. Aaliyah, that's a great niece. And then another great niece is Faith. And then another angel blessing, Deanna's grandmother. It was Deanna's grandmother's quilt. And then I want to make an alphabet quilt for my granddaughter. But, she's just born. She's brand new. But by the time she's homeschooling, I'd love to have an alphabet quilt on their homeschooling wall. And I think the way I want to do that is that it's canning jars, and inside of the canning jars is apples, beets, carrots. But we'll see, one step at a time, and I'm not there yet. Another one that's been brewing in the back of my head for the longest is koi fish. And then there's a little book I want to create. It's in my head as well. I can see it, but it's not fully come to life yet. It's about a little bee. It's a little simple project, just almost like 2 or 3 little pages. Very textile friendly for my granddaughter. Then I've got fabrics already pulled for Pooh Bear, some Pooh Bear fabrics, and just a quick, easy one as well. So at some point when I need something easy to do, I'll just be working on the Pooh quilt. But I got to get that one going. I've got the fabrics purchased, just don't have them done cut and that kind of thing. So that's where I am with quilts. As far as business initiatives go, one of the things I want to do is, well, let me backtrack on that. Clearly, the initiatives I have for the quilts, you know, the angel blessings, the comfort in the waiting and exploring and creating legacy quilts, all those things tie right into with what my business initiatives are as well. But also, I want to be able, with the business, to create a sense of community. I got an opportunity this week to do a little bit of that. A friend of mine, my long armor, is opening a long arm business, is quilting at the cottage. She needed a little bit of marketing work to announce her open house, and so I did that for her. And it made me feel good to be able to pay it forward, some kindness to somebody else, and I hope she's wildly successful in doing that. And it's just an effort towards, you know, helping to bring the community together. I know I'm the novice stepping into an existing community, and there are already all these little subgroups of people that know each other and exist, but that does not mean there's not room for more things to connect us, because there's got to be more people like myself who are novices and new to the community, even in their local areas. So let's, you know, connection cannot hurt any of us. At some point, I'd like to do some interviews of some local people and help showcase them to the larger audience of YouTube, and one day at a time, one step at a time, we'll get there. I think that pretty much covers everything. Unless I were to go over for you really quickly, I will. The skill focuses for the year. I will focus on hand sewing and construction, hand quilting. Studying value is probably always going to be something I'm studying. I want to do some mini work, some mini quilts and some mini block sizes. Foundation paper piecing, English paper piecing, personal wall art in my home. My aunt and uncle came to visit a few months ago and they said, "We want to see your quilts." So like, I've got nothing of giving them all away. Well, at some point I need to save something to, you know, showcase my work and to make me happy. I like to put something up in the studio at some time, so at some point I'll get that done. I'd like to do some wool felt work. I want to do some hand dyeing. And then yesterday I watched the quilt show where Ricky Timms interviewed these two batik artists, and I was very intrigued by that. So at some point, I think I need to add that to this list. It's not on here. Thread painting. I'd like to go to a quilt show to know what it takes to get your quilts into the show. Also, you know, I'm nowhere near that, I know, but it's a goal. Something I think would be exciting and help to bring me into the community a little bit further. And I want to research what those competitions are. What different types of competitions are there? I don't know. So I got a lot to learn. That's another area. And then I want to learn eQuilter. So that's everything. That sums it up for me. There's a lot on my plate, and I love it that way. It energizes me. It gives me a reason to get up out of the bed in the morning and to get going. And it's creative, and creative energy helps to fuel more creative energy. And that's the way it works for me anyway. It's a good distraction from, you know, any and everything else that might be stressing you. So with that, I'll close this video and point you back if you want to look at the ones we've done in the past week. I had an introduction video put out. I had one about decluttering, and I had one about the templates for the Quilt Show's Block of the Month 2024. I'm always welcome to kind comments and suggestions and tips. Please post them below, and we will get things rolling and work off of each other and feed off of each other's energy over time. Thanks for spending time with me. We'll see you in the next video.